What happens to the light when the earth gets rid of man one day? Human beings are the dominant organisms on this earth. With the ability to do things and think rationally, men have already outperformed all the organisms that have ever existed in the world. But what if every human died one day? Man has acquired the power to determine his past, design his present, and predict his future. He has the creativity to lead the world and the wisdom to hold the earth. But is that enough for him to survive the uncertainty of life and extinction? Certainly not. The phrase "what if" has always caught men to get going and find answers to things that they never thought about. And this is how the question, if all humans died, when would the last light go out? That seems to be a question that a 5-year-old asks his father at bedtime. But is it so? What will really happen? As of October 7, 2024, the world's population is over 8 billion, which is 8 times more people than there were in 1800s. That not only implies the outnumbering of men, but also talks about the cumulative effect that they can bring on the earth. Men don't see their extinction or wiped out pretty soon from the earth, but this always remains a question that needs brainstorming and answers. Is there an expiry date for men? Every organism on this earth has an expiry date. Dinosaurs must have thought they would be the kings of the earth forever. But extinction did find its way to them. So does it for human beings. But if the last of humanity is wiped out of the world, when will the last light go out? Human beings' energy consumption has only increased daily. Now, they need power for every basic thing, starting from getting themselves engaged every day. Human beings can't imagine a day without lights in their homes, right? But when humans become extinct from the earth, what will happen to the energy sources and the power that gets generated from them? Starting from the basic power grids. They won't last too long if men are not there to support them. The whole channel of power generation and its supply depends upon the demand and consumption of people worldwide. If people are not there on the planet, then what is the point of these power grids? The major power generation source or material in the whole wide world is coal or fossil fuel. This coal is burned, and the immense amount of heat coming out of it is used to steam the water, which will convert to steam to rotate the turbine and generate electricity. However, coal has to be mined out of the coal mine and processed before burning in the thermal power plants, and that needs human intervention. But if humans are long gone from the planet, there is no point in coal, which is deep under the soil. So the power grid that runs from coal or fossil fuels will find its goodbye pretty soon after humans are wiped out from the earth. The already generated power cannot be supplied as it involves people doing it, and there is none for consumers. As coal and oil plants start to shut down in the first few hours, other power sources will be hit with the extra load, since the power grid is connected. The distress that happens to fossil fuel energy will have a direct impact on other sources, resulting in a rapid series of cascading failures, leading to a blackout of all the major power grids. But does that matter? Because no one is there to suffer. While human beings are on the earth, such a cascading effect will cause too much damage to livelihoods and the global economy and can even result in a global economy being stuck down. The COVID-19 pandemic has already set an example on how a global stuck down can affect one's life at the personal, social, and economic levels. But a cascading failure of the power grid after the wipeout of human beings will not make much difference as there is no one to suffer. But is that the only energy source? Nuclear energy has gained momentum in recent years, as global organizations and nations are making it a point to control climate change and the resulting natural diameters. Nuclear energy has grabbed all the limelight. Unlike other energy sources, nuclear reactors of course don't require a steady supply of fuel with human intervention. Nuclear reactors work on the principle of nuclear fission. The energy released during the nuclear fission of elements like uranium, thorium, etc. is used to run the turbine and make electricity. One reactor operator, if their core settle into low power mode, could continue running almost indefinitely. Apart from that, the energy used by uranium is much higher than that of conventional energy sources. A cube of uranium contains about 6 million times as much stored energy as a similar sized cube of coal. When it comes to efficiency, nuclear energy cannot be beaten by traditional fossil fuels. That said, their work won't go long without intervention. As soon as something goes wrong, the core goes into automatic shutdown. Every part of a reactor control system is designed so that a failure causes it to shut down rapidly. One reason for such a shutdown can be the power grid failure that we talked about earlier. But there are sources of energy that don't make the point of these sources in the limelight. One of them is a diesel engine. Remote communities and isolated places, islands, oceans, etc. get their power from diesel generators. These can run until their tanks run out of fuel, which in most cases would be anywhere from days to months. Apart from that, geothermal plants can also run without any human intervention for quite some time, but without maintenance procedures like oiling, etc. being carried out for a year or two, it might affect its functioning and slowly result in a shutdown. Wind energy has also gained momentum in recent years, with governments giving it prime importance as a renewable source of energy. Modern wind turbines can work for around 6 months without any human interventions or maintenance. When it comes to hydrothermal power plants, water from sources like dams is collected, and the water is released at high pressure to rotate the turbine and generate electricity. Human operators don't have much to do in a hydrothermal power plant, as their only job is to report the status of water and the condition of dam infrastructure to the higher authority. Therefore, the plants can work for quite some time without any human intervention and through autopilot. As it reaches battery-powered lights, they can hold power for some time but eventually self-discharge, leaving no power left. Some batteries last longer than others, like batteries powered by lead acid, alkaline, zinc, carbon, etc., which self-discharge sooner than batteries powered by lithium. Lithium batteries are modern batteries that are typically used in electric vehicles, which have become a trend in recent years. Solar energy, on the other hand, is probably the most promising of all. There are many off-grid solar-powered buildings, weather stations, and other remote infrastructure around the world. The energy from the solar radiation is used to generate electricity. Being a renewable energy source, solar power offers a bright future for climatic efforts at the global level. Solar panels will generally last as long as the electronics connected to them. They will perform with efficiency if the panels are kept free of dust and debris. But as time passes, the wires and circuits will eventually succumb to corrosion. But if the solar panels are in a dry place, with well-built electronics, then they would continue providing power for a century if they're kept free of dust by occasional breezes or rain on the exposed panels. Therefore, in general, solar-powered lights are supposed to last the longest among the sources we have discussed so far. But there is something that we have yet to discuss, and that is very important, and that is spent on nuclear energy and radioactive waste. When radioactive particles travel through materials like water or glass, they can emit light through a sort of optical sonic boom light called Cherenkov radiation, which is blue. When the radioactive wastes emitted from nuclear plants mix with glass, they cool into a solid block before being wrapped in more shielding for transport and storage. An example is cesium-137, which has a half-life of 30 years. Therefore, 2 centuries later, the blocks of cesium-137 will still be glowing with 1% of their original radioactivity, even though the color fades over time. Hence, it can be said that the light generated from the radioactive waste will be the final one to say goodbye to the Earth. So, isn't it true we can't take everything back when we say adios to Earth? Comment down your thoughts below. Remember to like the video and share it with your fellow science enthusiasts. The wait will soon be over. In the meantime, make sure to check in by pressing the bell icon. Take care and we will see you all in the next video.